Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to No More News. I am your host, Adam Green. Thank you all so much for joining me today, Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. Another huge show today, tons of stuff that I want to discuss with you guys. Pam Bondi, just as I called, is now coming after anti-Semitism and hate speech in the name of Charlie Kirk being assassinated. We're going to cover that. Trump agrees. We got other clips from Rand Paul on the same issue and a bunch of other news. Yeah, it was too easy to call it that they're going to use it as an anti-Zionist, anti-crackdown. So here's the clip. A bunch of conservative commentators are outraged by her. She's also talking about forcing people to bake cakes now. Another big issue for conservatives. Well, let's start with the first clip here. Pam Bondi on Stephen Miller's wife's podcast calling for hate speech laws.
These universities are complicit in allowing conservatives to be harassed on campus. And what happens when you allow a university to harass conservatives and don't expel or don't take an action is what happened last week.
It is, and you know, on a broader level.
See, Charlie getting attacked is because they're not taking enough action on anti-Semitism. That's how we get into this.
Action is what happened last week.
It is, and you know, on a broader level, the anti-Semitism, what's been happening at college campuses around this country is disgusting, it's despicable, and we've been fighting that. We've been fighting these universities left and right, and we're not going to stop. There's free speech, and then there's hate speech, and there is...
Isn't that the ADL's line? Isn't that the people that all want to censor everybody's line? So now is it hate speech to be anti-Semitic? They're going to come after anti-Semites now because of what happened to Charlie Kirk? Who could have seen this coming? Who could have predicted such a thing? How long did it take? 3 days? How many working days? 2? Before she's already calling for hate speech laws?
No place fighting these universities left and right, and we're not going to stop. There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
Meaning Republicans, meaning right-wingers that are critical of Israel and Jews. That's what across the aisle means in that context. Listen.
Look what happened. Think about Josh Shapiro. What happened to Governor?
Think of the liberal Jew. What happened to him? Did he get shot at or attacked or something? I don't know.
Governor Shapiro. I talked to Josh multiple times. Democrat governor, Jewish.
Assassination attempt.
They firebombed his house while his wife and children were sleeping upstairs. It's a miracle. Nothing worse happened to, it's a miracle that nothing happened to Josh and he and his family are safe. They're traumatized, but that's what's happened in this world, and we are going to fight every step of the way to show that you will face the most severe consequences if you come after someone and you target someone for their political views or for any reason at all.
I wonder if there's greater context here, because that there at the end sounded like she's talking about using the term hate speech is wrong. She's supposed to represent the Republicans, and their whole thing is like cancel culture and hate speech. But I mean, I hope she's talking about like violent speech or like planning to cause, inflict harm or something. Like a clear incite to violence. Hopefully that's what she's referring to and not just anti-Semitism. Someone meaning Jews. Stephen Crowder asks, what in the world is she doing? Everybody's calling, or not everybody, but lots of people are calling for her to step down. We knew this was coming. We knew this is how they would use Charlie Kirk, clearly. and to crack down anti-Christianism and anti-Semitism and making them synonymous like they're the same thing. Anti-Yahwehism, might as well just call it. Anti-Moshiachism. All right, I'm going to get the TTS Power Chat.live/no more news turned on if you want to have your comment played on the stream and support the channel. That is on. We smashed the goal yesterday, so we're doing a stream instead of me taking today off and doing my
Anonymous
book.
sent $200. Keep
Whoa!
up the good work, bud.
200? Off to a good start. Wow. Anonymous, thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Alrighty then.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Anonymous. What a generous donation to get us going out of the gates. Matt Walsh, who along with Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles are hosting the Charlie Kirk show today. Commenting on Bondi, he says, between this hate speech nonsense and Epstein, Pam Bondi has committed two of the most egregious errors we've ever seen from an attorney general. How many seismic fuck-ups will Trump permit her before he cuts her loose? Is this a 10 strikes and you're out deal or what? 35,000 likes. I bet she's going to be gone soon. Last time Trump defended her, though, he stood by her strong because she's doing his dirty work, covering up the Epstein thing. Matt Walsh again. Conservatives, we need the Trump administration to destroy the left-wing terror networks and prosecute everyone who aids and abets them. AG Pam Bondi, best I can do is hate speech laws and suing Office Depot. Good one. Trump asked about her comments about hate speech, and he basically says, anybody that offends him or insults him is hate speech.
Tonight and have dinner. And what do you make Pam Bondi saying she's going to go after hate speech? Is that, I mean, a lot of your allies say hate speech is free speech.
Should probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate.
You're so unfair. The mainstream media is so unfair to me. She should go after
Zorn
you
Dare
for hate
Edom
speech.
sent $5. The entire concept of so-called hate speech is a Jewish intrusion into our lexicon, and only serves Jews. Bondi is a traitor. Surprised we aren't rushing prepared legislation through Congress already.
To get rid of her? There's a lot of influencers calling for her to be gone. This is like so antithetical to what the right is supposedly about. Using like the leftist Jewish, as you say, their term hate speech. Speech that they don't hate, that they hate is considered hate speech. Or not worshiping Trump is hate speech.
A lot of your allies say hate speech is free speech.
Should probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC. Well, ABC paid me $16 million recently for a form of hate speech, right? Your company paid me $16 million for a form of hate speech. So maybe they'll have to go after you. Look, we want everything to be fair. It hasn't been fair. And the radical left has done tremendous damage to the country. But we're fixing it. We have right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. And remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead. And now Washington, D.C. is fixed, and I fixed it. The mayor was...
I fixed it. It's fixed and I fixed it, he says.
Fine. The mayor was just fine, okay? The mayor had the sick city for many years. She's been mayor for many years. The one that fixed it was me and my people, and it is so safe. You should take your beautiful wife tonight and have dinner down there. You won't be shot. You won't be accosted. You won't even be looked at incorrectly by anybody. Washington, D.C. is safe. Now we're going to Memphis, where it's pretty rough, to put it mildly. And then we're going to have to go.
Pretty black. That's what he meant. To put it bluntly. This is so funny, too. Hate speech does not exist legally in America. Charlie Kirk tweet from 2024. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment. Keep America free. Imagine using the death of Charlie Kirk to pass anti-Semitism hate speech. To target anti-Semitic hate speech when this is what he tweeted. Isn't that something? Rand Paul chimes in on Fox today.
I was assaulted 6-7 years ago, attacked from behind, had 6 ribs broken and part of my lung removed, and still online on a daily basis people say they wish that it would happen to me all over again. And by sort of making light of what I suffered, they are encouraging other people to do it. And really, that ought to be taken down, and social media ought to be able to take that down. If people are saying this in their workplace, people say, oh, people have a right to say things. Well, actually, they don't necessarily.
Inciting violence?
They have a right to say things.
Inciting violence, First Amendment laws?
People have in their contract what we call a moral clause to their contract, or a conduct clause. My guess is you have something in your contract that says you have to behave in a certain way in public. Most people do. If you're in the military, you have a conduct code that you have to adhere to in your speech and the way you present yourself to the public. So I think it is time for this to be a crackdown on people. And like I say, it's perfectly legal and legitimate, particularly if it's part of the contract process.
That's right, and you know, it's unbelievable that it seems that it's always conservatives that are being targeted.
They're talking about getting people fired from their jobs, right? Hate speech, Pam Bondi versus Charlie Kirk. Let's check
Point
this
that is held by the left.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
My position is that even hate speech should be completely and totally allowed in our country. The most disgusting speech should absolutely be protected. And it's not a viewpoint that is held by the left. The ACLU used to hold this viewpoint. The American Civil Liberties Union, they sued so that legitimate Nazis could march through downtown Skokie. You remember this?
Wasn't that fake Nazis?
80s and 90s?
Legitimate Nazis.
Now, why would the ACLU do this? Because they said as soon as you use the word hate, that is a very subjective term. Because then all of a sudden it is in the eyes or it is in the implementation of whomever.
Whistler, I like this comment. He says, we're having a crackdown on speech now, military deployed in all cities like Trump is doing, like he was just talking about. Everyone trashing the West, hordes of commies out protesting, burning shit down. Gee, I wonder who's behind all this. I've got no leads, no idea who it could be.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything, and that's across the aisle.
I think that in a civil society, the best ideas will win as long as you have that marketplace. And here's the real issue. As soon as you shut up hate speech, those people only get more powerful. And this is the unintended consequence of censorship. Yep. You give more credence to the silenced person the moment you shut them up, because then they can play the victim and they say, they're trying to shut me up because I have something that everyone else wants.
Wow.
And I'm a threat to them. No, you're not. You're just a fool. And those people have too much power. And so the minute that you start to enforce speech.
Wow, speaking from the grave, Charlie Kirk right now, exposing the whole shtick that they're doing.
Laws like they do in Europe, based on specific political opinions, regardless of how reprehensible they are, then you actually give credence to them. This is why in Germany, where they do not allow swastikas, they do not allow Nazi paraphernalia, their white nationalist awful movement is actually gaining traction because it has like a rebellious underbelly. No. Let me be very clear. Bring your bad ideas publicly so decent people can cross-examine you, so we can see who you are, we can talk to you, and convince the public otherwise.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
This is a hard argument for some young people to hear, because they're like, it's so hateful, it's so awful, it deteriorates our country. No. Those ideas, if they spread, deteriorate our country. But good people will speak in opposition to them. And that's why I'm a big believer. I'm a free speech absolutist, through and through. I think that the utility of speech...
It's illegal to call for violence, right? I've always understood that was the law.
Makes human beings different than any other type of being on the planet. Aristotle said we are the speaking beings. That our capacity to communicate is
Inciting violence is illegal, has limitations.
I actually think it creates an active citizenry when bad people are allowed to speak. When really bad...
If it advocates for an illegal action, advocacy is directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action, and is likely to produce such action. Both federal and state laws address incitement to violence and riots with potential penalties, including fines and imprisonment. So we already have laws. Are they just talking about enforcing them, arresting people that are celebrating? Like I saw this one atheist cringe dude, Captain Dadpool. He was like, yeah, I used to be against all these podcast bros coming to universities. But then he said that he wants to see them come all the time now. And then he said, hooray. Like something like that, saying you want to see more of this and encouraging this. I could see them coming for that. I don't know if I'd have a problem with that.
Bad people are given a permit. All of a sudden, the entire population's like, that's disgusting.
Yeah, and all forms of anti-Semitism, and anti-Semitism in all forms too. That's going to be the catch to any legitimate justice that they would do with this.
Let's go get our yard signs, go make them, and we're going to go speak out against them.
I'm going to play some Sam Hyde clips.
We will absolutely
terroristic, threatening, and intimidation laws, right?
Target you, go after you if you are targeting.
They haven't been enforcing them, though. Or when the left's in power, they were enforcing them on the right, but the right doesn't enforce them back. Bondi now commenting on the Office Depot manager that was fired for not printing up a poster for a Charlie Kirk vigil. She's commenting on that,
people
too.
Who are saying horrible. That's horrific. It's free speech, but you shouldn't be employed anywhere if you're going to say that. And employers, you have an obligation to get rid of people. You need to look at people who are saying horrible things, and they shouldn't be working with you. Businesses cannot discriminate. If you want to go in and print posters with Charlie's pictures on them for a vigil, you have to let them do that. We can prosecute you for that. I have Harmeet Dillon right now in our civil rights.
So the Christian baker has to. Conservatives have fought for this issue for so long. To have a Christian baker not want to bake a cake for the gay couple, right? That they've been fighting that issue for so long, and then now they're calling to reverse it and saying you have to print whatever they want. Isn't that amazing? She's doing reversals on two of like the main talking points of conservatism in the same morning.
For a vigil, you have to let them posters with Charlie's pictures on them for a vigil. You have to let them do that. We can. If
a trans wants you to come and do a she-her on a cake, happy birthday she-her, you have to do that, Christian. Same exact thing. Bake the cake, bigot. Right.
Print posters with Charlie's pictures on them for a vigil. You have to let them do that. We can prosecute you for that. I have Harmeet Dillon right now in our civil rights unit looking at that immediately, that Office Depot had done that. We're looking at that. But Sean, that's horrific.
They fired the manager right away for that. Yeah, this is the perfect meme. Businesses have the right to refuse service to anyone. They just happen to be trans. The business refuses to print a Charlie Kirk poster. Dude, they're so hypocritical. Pam, yeah, she's going to be gone, I think. Here's the new scandal today now. Starbucks programmed their printers to not print the name Charlie Kirk. Let's see this. We covered the clip yesterday. I love seeing that Office Depot girl get fired. No, it's propaganda. We can't print that.
You want 2, honey? 2? Okay. Hi, let me get a grande mint majesty with 2 honeys.
Let me ring up over here, okay?
Okay.
Perfect. What else today?
Oh, that's it.
Perfect. What was the name for the order? Or actually, you need a name.
The name is Charlie Kirk.
We can't do political names, but it didn't even ask for a name to begin with, so it's going to be $3.75, okay?
Oh, but can you write the name on the cup?
The sticker won't print.
Oh, you can't write on that?
I could, but I can write Charlie.
Why can't you write the whole name?
Because it's political.
Political?
Yes, yeah. Let me start your P3, okay?
I wonder if it's a political thing has already been a thing. I wonder if I ask ChatGPT, I'll say, does Starbucks allow political and famous names on their cup? rule. Let's see what they say.
You know what? Forget it. I don't want it.
No credible evidence that Starbucks has an official policy. Here, we can bring this over here. Has an official policy that bans using political or famous people's names like Charlie Kirk or drink orders. No confirmed company rule. Names are usually used. Call my name. Local store discretion. No, and not a law. Not a law, according to ChatGPT. At least she isn't a fat, ugly bitch about it. Yeah, at least she was sweet. It's less offensive. She's like, sorry, that's just our policy. Something like that. Rob Schneider dedicated his show to Charlie. Okay. Okay, here we go. Nothing they hate more. Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire donates $1 million to TPUSA to help bring people back to Christ and church and biblical values like Charlie wanted. Nothing Shapiro fears more than Jesus.
I know we at Daily Wire, we trust you at TPUSA to do it. I mean, that's really the answer. We're willing to provide, and we are providing, any level of material support, any level of support on the ground, boots on the ground, helping you to do what Charlie would have wanted to be done here. And I think that the reason that everybody trusted Charlie, the reason we're all mourning Charlie, is because nobody did it better. You spelled out two of Charlie's goals. He said, you know, he wanted to bring people back to Christ and bring people back to church and back to...
He said the name. He said Christ. Bring them back to church. Bring them back to Christ. What's funny is that guy, the Christian guy, Joel Webton, he tweeted right after. He said, Ben Shapiro can't fill the shoes, can't fill the chair of Charlie Kirk because he's not a Christian. And then actually this guy's donating $1 million to bring people to Christ. Bring people to Zion is what he really means. What Jesus really means. Jesus' role is to bring the world to Zion.
Helping you to do what Charlie would have wanted to be done here. And I think that the reason that everybody trusted Charlie, the reason we're all mourning Charlie, is because nobody did it better. You spelled out two of Charlie's goals. He said, you know, he wanted to bring people back to Christ and bring people back to church and back to biblical values. And he wanted to keep the MAGA coalition together. And expand it. And the question is how you do that. And the answer is you focus on the first, and the second is a byproduct. Okay, the answer is that
you focus on the first, which the first was Jesus, right? Bring people to Jesus. The first step to get Goyim to be Shabbos Noahide is you bring them to Jesus. That's the first step.
First and the second.
Hold on, I got to make sure if Jesus was the first step.
Mourning Charlie is because nobody did it better. You spelled out two of Charlie's goals. He said, you know, he wanted to bring people back to Christ and
right, that's the first one.
Back to biblical values, and he wanted to keep the MAGA coalition together and expand it. And the question is how you do that. And the answer is you focus on the first, and the second is a byproduct.
Christ.
Okay, the answer is that, as Matt says, you have to unite around something. And yeah, we can unite in the short term around the fact that there are a bunch of people who hate our guts and want to murder us, which of course is true. But long-term unity, big movement change, which is what Charlie was really trying to drive, and why he went to talk to people.
Dude, is Ben Shapiro really using the same argument that all of these Christians and all these influencers try to use against me? We got to have something. We got to unite around something. We got to have the king of the Jews. Got Amalek. Are you hearing this in the chat? Is this not what Adam, you're being divisive. We got to unite around something. A lot of people are Christians. Just believe in Jesus. Dude, Ben Shapiro has the same exact argument that these Christians have been using against me. Got to unite around something. What else are we going to unite around if not the king of the Jews? The Jews hate it when we follow it. Just listen to Ben Shapiro. Amazing. See through it all, add it to the compilation, add it to the vault, to the Ben Shapiro vault, the folder.
There are a bunch of people who hate our guts and want to murder us, which of course is true. But long-term unity, big movement change, which is what Charlie was really trying to drive, and why he went to talk to people who disagree, is about building around those core values. And so the long-term vision, yeah, we'll have our petty squabbles, and yeah, some of those squabbles will be more than petty. But the long-term
Zorn
vision
Dare
has to
Edom
be...
sent $5. How do you do that? You coax a furry to kill Kirk, then complete the hostile takeover of Tpusa with Jews top to bottom.
Hostile takeover, that's who built it. That's who built it. It wasn't a hostile takeover. It was took over, and he was at the helm.
Petty squabbles, and yeah, some of those squabbles will be more than petty, but the long-term vision has to be built around those original biblical conservative values that Charlie stood for, things like the Bible, things like free markets, things like family, all those things are things Charlie stood for. You got to build the coalition around values, because we can't build it around the man, but we can build it around.
We need my biblical morals, Goyam. Hey, Goyam, you need some biblical morals. Believe in Jesus, go to church, biblical morals, Judeo-Christian. Nothing they hate more. Dude, it's over. It's over. Are any of the anti-Semitic Christians going to share this clip? No, they're just going to say nothing he hates more than Jesus. That's all they'll say, and then not ever share this.
The values that he left behind and that he spent his entire life fighting for. And, we couldn't be, frankly, more honored to join you guys as much as we can in the fight.
Thank you for that, and thank you for donating the Daily Wire $1 million. Breaking news on this show. Thank you guys for honoring Charlie so well today. God bless you.
Yeah, Decimate. Worship the Jewish rabbi, Goy. It's the only way to beat them. It's the only, you won't survive without Jesus in the Bible, Goyam. Go to church. Here's $1 million to go convert a bunch of little Shabbos goys. Oh, dude, it's so bad. So bad. Sorry, my apologies, guys. I'll cool it.
Jews is terrible.
I'll cool it on the Jewish voices.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
Self-intro. And what do you know? Another Jew. Every other day it's Ben Shapiro hates Jesus and this Jew, this lying Jew. And then here they are again. What is this? Adam Sosnick, the co-host of Patrick Bet-David's Valuetainment. Same thing. Christians. We need more Christianity. We need a Charlie Kirk Jesus revival.
It should just be, I think Christians need to step up. As someone who's Jewish, Jews are 0.02% of the world. We're 2% of America. We're not trying to take over anything. I would love to see Christians return back to the church. I would love to see Christians get back to Jesus. The people in my life that go to church that are Christians, they're some of the best people I know. The problem we have in society is the degradation of a lack of Christianity, a lack of God, a lack of moral clarity, a lack of patriotism, wokeism and Marxism and transism and Islamism, and all these isms have taken the place of something that should just be Christianity. So Charlie Kirk, apparently he was coming out with this book that's already a bestseller. It was called Stop in the Name of God, Why Honoring the Sabbath Will Transform Your Life, which is about why he, on Friday nights, the Sabbath, shuts down, turns everything off, and spends time with his family. So Charlie Kirk was a Christian, don't get it twisted, but he honored both books, the Old Testament, which are the 5 books of Moses, and the New Testament, the teachings of Jesus. So it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. I would love to see Christians follow Charlie's lead. There's no better role model for young men than Charlie Kirk.
He's the exemplary Shabbos Goy, little Noahide Shabbos Goy, the Zionist angel. Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Patrick Bet-David, all of them promote Christianity. The White House, Trump's people, all the biggest Zionists, they're all promoting Christianity. Hey, coping e-crusaders, stop saying there's nothing they hate more. Stop lying to yourselves. Please. Why do you do it to yourselves? Isn't it painful? I wonder how many of these are Christian. Here's your Congress in a foreign nation under a foreign nation's flag. Why? 250 members of Congress from both sides of the aisle, all on nice VIP trips to Israel. Probably 9 out of 10 identify as Christian, probably in this bunch. Maybe more, maybe 9.5, maybe all of them are Christian, probably not all of them. We got lots of problems in America, and they get a break from Congress and they fly over to Israel. Isn't it disgusting? Do 250 members of Congress during their recess fly to any other country? Or is it because of Christianity that they just go to Israel, the Holy Land, because the Bible? They had their 50 states, one Israel. Thanks, damn Bigfoot. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, says United States has allies and its friends, but Israel is its only real partner.
Operation and communication.
Our only real Judeo-Christian brother. Friends of Zion Museum. That's Mike Evans, the Jewish Zionist.
Our general approach, as you have known and you've just said, has been that we respect our ally. And really, it's more than an ally. Israel is a partner. Let me explain the difference. We have friends as the United States, and we do have allies. But I would say we only have one real partner. And by partner, I mean that there's a level of cooperation and cohesion between the United States and Israel that is unlike any other nation. And it is a genuine partnership in which we share levels of intelligence, military hardware and software, levels of cooperation and communication, the likes of which simply don't exist with any other country, even though we have very close allies in many parts of the world and love them, work together with them, and also with a lot of levels of intelligence. But the level with which we partner with Israel is quite unique. Our general approach, as you have known.
And then, yeah, keep coping, Melissa Wong. Keep coping with that one. And now they were just at the wall with Netanyahu, praying at the wall with their kippas on. And now he gives a long speech here at the historic opening ceremony of the Pilgrimage Road at the city of David in Jerusalem, Israel's eternal capital. The archaeological discoveries at the city of David bring the Bible back to life and celebrate our shared Judeo-Christian heritage, he says. I think the Pilgrimage Road is the thing that they supposedly discovered. Remember, the former ambassador David Friedman was over there. We played the video. He had a big hammer, and they were breaking through some wall to reveal this lost road. Let's hear a little bit of what he says here.
On the vast planet Earth. What an honor to be here for this incredible ceremony. Mr. Prime Minister, Secretary Rubio, all of the wonderful people who made this possible by their generosity, contributing to something that is historic and something that is a living memorial of what God has done. It was 4,000 years ago here in this city on Mount Moriah where God chose his people. He not only chose a people, but
dude, this is insane. We can't have political officials believing that God really has a people, that God chose a foreign people. This is a Jewish cult running our politics. When this many people in positions of power believe that a people are chosen by the creator of the universe, we can't have this. This is clown world insane. I'm taking crazy pills level. The 4,000 years ago, God chose this group of people. And we're all meant to worship the God that chose them.
A living memorial of what God has done. It was 4,000 years ago here in this city on Mount Moriah where God chose his people. He not only chose a people, but he chose a place. And then he chose for the people in this place a purpose. The people were the Jewish people. The place was Israel. And the purpose was to be a light to the world and to show that we don't have to look for God because he...
Tonsky Adam sent $10 on Rumble. I'm jealous Scott on X. Appreciate you been a fan since YouTube.
Thank you, Jealous God. Long-time listener since the YouTube days. It's been about... I think next month, I think it was in October that I got banned right before the election. October 2020, right before the election. So it's going to be 5-year anniversary since I was banned from YouTube. But there has been a great follower that has created an Adam Green fan page. Just search on YouTube, Adam Green fan page. All of my stuff and old stuff he's posting there, doing a great job, shorts and everything. Big shout out to the Adam Green fan page on YouTube.
He is looking for us. And that
shout out to Tone Skedium.
History of why this city is so important. It's also a reminder to us that this little bitty sliver of real estate on the vast planet Earth is the most contested piece of land in all of human history. Not because of just those who want it, but because of those who don't want the Jewish people to have it. But tonight, something is extraordinary that we celebrate. For 3,000 years ago, David established his kingdom here. And 2,000 years ago, the world, through the Romans, decided we'll get rid of the Jews. And they destroyed this place. And they scattered the Jewish people across the planet. But that wasn't the end of the story. Tonight, we're sitting here because the story is not just alive. It's more alive than perhaps it has been in the 4,000 years that God chose his people, his place, his purpose. And it is an extraordinary thing to behold.
It's going to be biblical. It's all happening according to the plan. Trust the plan. Prophecies unfolding.
Tonight, I'm reminded of the day that the embassy was dedicated in 2018. I was so grateful to President Trump for making the bold and courageous decision that despite all of the opposition across the planet, he was going to move the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem, as he should. Other presidents...
Erastus Bo sent $10 on Rumble. How awesome
you.
would it be if Trump got BB to come to the White House and then arrested him on live TV for war crimes, investigates Mossad and holds elections in Israel? Would never happen because of CIA.
That would be incredible. Even if that happened, I would still think, oh, this is part of the script. This is just the turn on Israel and Netanyahu, and I would be shocked. But I would still think, oh, this isn't real. Honestly, that happened. I hope that would happen. I hope I could be proven wrong. That would be a true miracle. Maybe I'd believe in God if that happened. That would be a true miracle.
It's promised it, but they always found a reason to back away. President Trump made a promise, and he kept the promise. And on the day that we were here, and I was overwhelmed with emotion as I sat at the dedication of the embassy having moved to Jerusalem, there was a young man in the crowd, and he was exuberant. But in verse 5, it is not just dust and stone. It is a living speech in which God is crying out through the very stones to say to the world, this magnificent excavation, this extraordinary piece of archaeological mastery is a validation and a truth, and it is shouting from the top of the mountain that this is indeed the eternal home of the Jewish people, the Jewish state, and the people who rightly belong here. And tonight the rest of the world comes to say, welcome home, and may no one ever, ever attempt to take your home from you. It is yours. And those of us who are not Jewish, we thank you for giving all of us a foundation of morality and decency and civilization upon which our own faith is built, for without yours, we don't have one. As I often tell my Jewish friends, you can be Jewish, you don't need me. But I cannot be who I am in my faith without the debt of obligation that I owe to you for having listened to God and been willing to be obedient to him when he called you to this place as his people.
So cucked. Oh my God, it's so cucked. Oh, God chose you and called you to be the light to the nations and to save us with your Messiah.
Eternal, everlasting purpose. And I salute you and join you tonight in the celebration of this wonderful.
Dude, this Jewish cult is way too normalized. It's way too ubiquitous and normalized. People are desensitized to how insane this is. It's like if you put on the They Live glasses and realize how insane this is, that we have people with this type of political power that really believe these things, or at least pretend to believe these things.
Magnificent, incredible reminder that God never has been finished with Israel, and he never will be. This is the eternal home that he has chosen. God bless you all.
Oh, Netanyahu. Oh, look at it under there. That looks cool. Hold on. Wow.
Brittany97 sent $10. I really can't wait to read your book.
Thank you, Brittany. It's 300 pages. I've started back, so I finished writing it all. I started back at the beginning. I'm going through and finalizing each page and reading it and making sure it's perfect. And then I'm on page 100 right now. So I've got another 200 pages to go, and it should be ready.
Brittany97 sent $10. I really can't wait to read your book.
It's so info-packed and very easy to understand, explaining all of the different material and info that's just been compiled over the years and in my brain, the way I see it, what I think is relevant and most important. It's going to be really good. It could be a big deal. They're all underground. They're all in underground caves and tunnels. Germany's chancellor is close to tears at the reopening of a synagogue in Munich and declares war on, quote, all forms. They always say that, huh? All forms. Old and new anti-Semitism in the country. Germany's chancellor. Worldwide. Wearing a kippah, too. He's not even Jewish, is he? Mers?
Wir wissen im Rückblick, dass die Novemberpogrome von 1938 nur der Auftakt waren für das Menschheitsverbrechen der Shoah. Für den Versuch.
Bifurcatia sent $5 on Rumble. Pertinent question, how long between the end of your writing and the book being in our hands?
I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure when I'm done, it's just a matter of uploading a PDF and checking a few boxes, and then you'll be able to buy it. So, not long.
Der systematischen, geradezu industrialisierten Auslöschung des jüdischen Angestellten Hilfserwartung des Kindes.
I guess we're going to have to take their word for it because there's no translation. War on all forms of anti-Semitism, old and new. Worldwide. Marco Rubio, while he was in Israel. Little highlight from his speech.
And Hamas no longer. The reality.
Highlight, low light. I guess you could call it a low light.
The reality of it is.
There's no stopping the Zion train. Nope.
The reality of it is we still have 48 hostages. We still have a.
Not as long as the opposition is also headed to Zion. Not as long as the opposition, the Christians and Muslims, also worship the God of Zion. There's definitely no stopping it. And that's the situation with this controlled op Judeo paradigm we're living in. Mers is Catholic. Oh, big shocker. Not a real Catholic, though. No, it's just Schofield Reference Bible. But the Catholics do it too. Right, that's what I thought.
Hamas that is not only holding 48 hostages, they're holding Gaza hostage, and they're using civilians as human shields. They're still a dangerous element, and as long as they exist, as long as they're around, there will be no peace in this region because they are not agents of peace, they are agents of barbarism. And it's still a fundamental fact that the people of Gaza deserve a better future, a future which is not possible until the hostages are all released and Hamas no longer exists. All these fundamentals still exist. They all still have to be addressed. And that's what we're going to remain focused on as we engage with our allies in the Gulf, is how can we continue to work together to address those three things. The reality of it is we still have 48 hostages.
Hostages, human shields. What does Trump have to say? Trump has nothing to say about Gaza aside from Hamas human shields moments ago. This morning.
That's something that has.
Oh my gosh, that's loud. Hold on. Goddamn helicopters.
Ground offensive is now underway in Gaza City. Your reaction?
Oh, ground offenses underway in Gaza City?
Ground offensive is now underway in Gaza City. Your reaction?
Thunderstorm 9 sent $10 on Rumble. Adam, you and Karlin Borisenko last streams, my comments in the live chat got edited and the streams restarted. Just a heads up. Great show.
Your chat got edited and my stream restarted. You're saying it restarted right now? Is it glitching? Thunderstorm, if it's not working on Rumble, try on Odyssey or X. Sorry, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what you mean there.
So we're going to see what happens because I hear Hamas is trying to use the old human shield deal. And
the old human shield excuse. He even says it like that. I'll just throw the old human shield line at him.
If they do that, they're going to be in big trouble. They're going to be in big trouble. They put it out.
What more are you going to do? Is Hamas not already in big trouble? Is Palestine not already, or Gaza already not in big trouble? Oh, if they do human shields. You've been accusing them of doing human shields for decades. But now they're going to be in trouble if you say they're doing it again. I thought, haven't they talked about already getting all of Hamas anyway?
2 days ago that they're going to use the hostages as human shields.
Oh, did they say that? They said, yeah, we're going to do human shields. I'm sure they would give you that PRW on a silver platter.
Something that hasn't done for a long time, you know?
Ground offensive is now
Here's another one I just saw. Trump defends Pam Bondi and her hate speech comments. Ideas for book covers. Think it's going to be something with Jesus, and it's going to say the Jesus deception. And that's about all I know so far, but pretty much some version of that. Trump is
4 days.
Backing Bondi again. Thank you, damn Bigfoot. Another $2, by the way, if you wanted to read.
Well, first of all, I think that Pam Bondi has done an unbelievable job, and everybody agrees with that. And Cash...
Everybody agrees with that. What, all your Zog buddies? Everybody online has been very critical of Pam Bondi. Everybody agrees she's doing a great job. She's the best.
Agrees with that. And Bondi has done an unbelievable job, and everybody agrees with that.
Unbelievable job coming for the hate speech. It was the plan all along. Trust the plan.
And Cash, if you take a look at what he did with respect to this horrible person that he just captured. He did it in 2 days.
He didn't capture it. The dad turned him in.
It took other similar cases, 4 days, 5 days, 4 years, if you look at certain shooters. Now, I have confidence in everybody in the administration. My administration, and a lot of people are saying it, not just me, it's so far the best administration ever formed. Well, first of all...
We're the best administration ever. We're like the Avengers. The greatest ever.
But most of the deals that I've made...
This is him talking about his business deals. I'm not sure why this is being asked right now. Is there a story going on? Something about with Trump Inc.? Trump Co.? What is it called?
Nobody has ever done on the border like I've done.
Mr. President, what will you tell President Zelensky if you meet with him in New York?
Well, he's going to have to get going and make a deal. He's going to have to make a deal. Zelensky's going to have to make a deal. And Europe has to stop buying oil from Russia. Okay? You know, they talk, but they have to stop buying oil from Russia.
Mr. President, there are some
regarded to be the wealthiest man who's ever occupied the White House.
Parisia Times sent $5 on Rumble. Sometimes I wish I lived in Trump's delusional world where everything is unbelievably good and the best and the Jews were actually awesome.
The Jews are the best. They give me so much money. They're the greatest ever.
Which a woman 22 sent $10 on Rumble.
The best at business.
Did you hear this one? It's a blessing the assassin wasn't black because there wouldn't have been a father to turn him in.
Good one. Good one. Hilarious.
How much wealthier are you now than when you returned to the White House? Well, I don't know the deals I made for the most part, other than what my kids...
Zorn Dare Edom sent $5. The so-called hostages is becoming a bigger joke than the so-called weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Is there any habitable rubble left where the hostages may be hiding? Quick, bomb it. What a shit show.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. They've already released so many hostages, too. Makes you wonder if there are any more left.
You know,
or they're just claiming there are.
Running my business, but most of the deals that I've made were made before. And that's what I've done for a life. I've built buildings, like I'm building a building here. You know where I'm building? You know what? You see that area? Yeah. That is going to be the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world. And for 150, so it gives me pleasure to do it for the country. And I'm paying for it. I'm paying for it. The country's not, and that's an expensive ballroom. I think it'll cost $250 million.
Dude, he's so obsessed with this ballroom.
And
all he's thinking about is legacy of the Trump ballroom. We'll call it Trump room.
It will be, I think, the finest ballroom. So for 150 years, John, you know this? They've wanted a ballroom. And now they're going to finally have it. And it's going to knock your socks off.
He's just such a pitch man. He's always in sale mode. ABC, always be closing. He's just 24/7 infomercial frontman.
That a president in office should be engaged in so much business activity.
Well, I'm really not. My kids are running the business. I'm here. You know what the activity, where are you from?
I'm from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Four Corners program.
Well, the Australians, you're hurting Australia, right? In my opinion, you are hurting Australia very much.
Thunderstorm 9 sent $5 on Rumble. At Adam, it was yesterday's show. Now it seems fine. Weird.
Maybe he was just messing up when it was still processing right after the show was posted. That happens sometimes.
And they want to get along with me. You know, your leader is coming over to see me very soon. I'm going to tell him about you. You set a very bad tone.
Well,
go ahead, John.
When the UAE does a deal like
you can set a nicer
when the UAE does a deal, what does it want in return?
Quiet.
Mr. President, what are you hearing about the operation in Gaza, the Israeli operation?
Okay, now, you know, the Charlie Kirk thing has really turned into like such a propaganda
Dan
war
Bigfoot
and
sent
like, a murder
$5 on
mystery.
Rumble. Trump's so-called best friend, like a son to him, was assassinated, but all he talks about is a ballroom and dances at football games. Sure is grieving.
Yeah. I mean, he has talked a good amount about Charlie, and I think still will more in the future. He's going to give him the medal and stuff too. But those two clips definitely seemed insensitive, like he's not really upset at all. Okay, look at this. Cernovich says the quote-unquote influencers have gone uncharacteristically silent. They don't know what others know, so they don't want to be pinned down to a story. He's referencing the Charlie Kirk situation. They want to see what comes out. Then they can craft their lies about what gets released. This is now obvious. He's been pushing a lot of this, I guess you could say, skepticism or theories. I don't know if he's pushed any actual theories, but he's been chiming in a lot about the Charlie Kirk murder mystery, which is almost what it's turned into to a degree online. So Bill Ackman is a Jewish billionaire who was accused of by Candace Owens. We're going to back it up a second. Here it is. Candace Owens claims that, quote, threats were made to Charlie Kirk during an intense intervention with Jewish billionaire Bill Ackman in the Hamptons weeks ago. Owens claims Kirk was having a change of heart on Israel before his death and that he was contacted by Bibi Netanyahu. She says, quote, I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment, a ton of money. Ackman has denied the claims, calling them totally false. In this long wall of text here. And we're going to get into this a little bit more. Oops.
In the Hamptons, and he had more than one event, but he had...
Gray Zone Max Blumenthal did an article about this as well from an unnamed source. I don't know if she's saying Charlie told her this. She plays the clip of what would have been like the next couple days after, where Charlie was talking about them calling him anti-Semitic and being really mad. So she's basically blaming. And then what's interesting is Bill Ackman apparently said that he would donate $1 million to whoever turned in the shooter. He says this afternoon, Candace Owens, and he's like a big Netanyahu guy from what I've heard, slandered me by accusing him of staging an intervention with Charlie Kirk in which threats were made, and that she intimated that he blackmailed Charlie, and then he denies it and says it's not true, pretty much, in all of this. But he does admit that this billionaire did work with Charlie Kirk to fly out a bunch of people to some meetup, some conference in the Hamptons at one of his mansions. Doomernat here summarizes it. He says, let's get this straight. You had a bunch of influencers, young influencers, out in the Hamptons, backed by yourself and other billionaires, Zionist billionaires, pushing propaganda of a foreign state onto college kids like myself. That's the reality. That's what Turning Point was. That's what Charlie Kirk was doing. He claims that it was Charlie Kirk that DM'd him and expressed interest to meet to get a bunch of conservatives in order to defend Israel, which is what Charlie was always doing, working with Jewish billionaires to defend Israel and shill for Israel. It's also being reported that, or claimed, that Netanyahu offered Turning Point $150 million, which Charlie reportedly denied or rejected. And also Netanyahu invited him to Israel and he didn't go. So very interesting. Is Candace going to get sued again over this? Josh Hammer, the Zionist Jew that works for Newsweek and before that Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro, says he was there at this Bill Ackman Zio propaganda meetup. And he says everything Andrew says is accurate. Andrew is, I think he's the co-host or producer of Charlie's show. He denies what Candace is saying. He says he asked Bill Ackman event more than a few times. So now he was the staff. Okay, he asked the staff who was traveling with Charlie to find out if it's true. His team was with him 100% of the time when he wasn't in his hotel room. That's what they told me. Bill never yelled at Charlie, never pressed him on Bibi, never gave him a list of Charlie's offenses against Israel. There was concern raised about having Tucker. And Charlie's reply was, honestly, people telling me not to have Tucker makes me want to have Tucker, and I'm going to lock him in for AmFest too. Charlie's personally told me he had a very cordial relationship with Bill Ackman, and the event was productive. Those are the facts. That's what Ange, is this the co-host, I think, or friend of Charlie? I'm not exactly sure. He says he talked to everybody. Josh Hammer says he was there and he confirms this is accurate. But this is the kicker, though. That meeting attended was 8-4 to 8-5, and this interview was 8-6. Do you think someone else was pressuring Charlie? Because this timing makes it seem highly likely that he was pressured at that meeting.
And I don't say it acts that way. But I got texts about you, Megan, saying, why is Megan like doing the bidding of Hamas? I was like, what are you talking about? Megan's the best. Like, what? Like, she's amazing. And I said, why are you texting me about Megan? And I at that point, and so this is what they don't understand. You and I, Megan, and Tucker is in the same category, and they've tried to go after Tucker.
Yeah.
She claimed again in another clip I saw yesterday that Fox News had shunned Charlie Kirk and would almost never have him on.
Is that and the more you attack our moral character, the more we're going to double down in a direction, because 100%. Screw you. I don't do it that way. Okay.
Right.
Like when tell me I'm wrong. Cool. Tell me if I got my facts wrong. By the way, on the Epstein thing, Naftali Bennett says he was an Epstein agent. We have to be pursuers of truth. They've denied it. Fine. Let's keep digging. Okay. Fine.
But they denied it.
The thing that I think is being lost is, like, on some part of the population, you can scold them into silence, right? But
so he was scolded into silence, and he said, no, he's going to not do that. Right? And given the timing, Ackman also offered a $1 million reward for the killer. Here's Candace watching that.
Thunderstorm 9 cent $5 on Rumble. Your local Walmart seemed to have more security than Charlie Kirk, worth $500 million.
Yeah, I'm shocked that they don't have some military type of drone that goes way up in the sky over the event, and then it locks on with the cameras to the different roofs. And if there's any roofs, if there's any movement of any snipers, it notifies it, locks in, sends an alarm, they go check it. I would assume that they would have that. He's probably one of the most at risk for assassinations, and they let this kid get on the roof in clear with a clear shot and nailed him in one go.
It'd be like if all of a sudden I'm.
So this is supposedly not supposedly, confirmed right after this weekend that they had with Bill Ackman in the Hamptons.
I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megan, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been so unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megan. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
Certainly somebody was pressuring him, but just because somebody's pressuring him and being a little hypersensitive and calling and being mad that he had Tucker on the stage doesn't mean that Charlie had turned against him. She's also claiming that Charlie was about to become Catholic, that she said he was praying the rosary, implying that that would mean he's not a Judeo-Christian Protestant Christian supporter of Israel anymore. We'll get to that clip in a second. Here's another clip of her talking about Ackman.
Essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman, because Charlie's rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no. This is not the route that you should be going on. And Charlie was surrounded by his friends, his quote-unquote friends.
Onyx Rock sent $5 debating the technical aspects of their power, and weighing the abundance of their lies is irrelevant. No one trusts these people and we don't like being ruled by them. Nick and Candace are both wrong. Might makes right.
No. Whoever prays the hardest wins. Whoever gets on their knees and prays the hardest wins. Might makes right. Thank you, Onyx Rock.
Bill Ackman was very upset, and threats were made. Essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman, because Charlie's thoughts.
Okay. Tucker's comments at TPUSA about Bill Ackman.
Yeah, okay, I'm a socialist now. All right. For it.
So this was at TPUSA. Remember, he also did a 10-minute rant all about Epstein working for Mossad also? The Jews were probably pissed after this. And they said, stop having him on. And he said no.
They're getting rewarded for it. The unfairness of it drives you crazy. And it's particularly galling in the case of Jeffrey Epstein and the whole constellation of people around Jeffrey Epstein, all of whom seem to be getting away with scams. And how do you know they're getting away with scams? I'll tell you how, because they're useless and they're rich. So how do you come to a place where some of the least impressive, most useless people who have no actual skills become billionaires? How's that legitimate? And by the way, if you ask this question, at least in Washington, it's like, oh, well, yeah, it sounds like you're a socialist. Sounds like socialism. Yeah, okay, I'm a socialist now. All right. I was a Qatari agent or a bigot. Now I'm a socialist. All right. Leaving aside my committed socialism, can you answer the question? How did Bill Ackman get $9 billion? Bill Ackman, a pretty impressive guy? I know Bill Ackman. No. Bill Ackman's like well-connected and super aggressive. That's it. And I think, well-connected, super aggressive people deserve a fair living like everybody else. But if you're accruing $9 million just because you're willing to do anything, I don't know why we have to pretend that's good.
So you can see why Bill Ackman would have been pissed about Tucker Carlson. He was getting named. He's being connected to Epstein. Sorta. He's exposing Epstein. Ian Carroll says, notice the entire Israeli network going into overdrive to tell you they know more about Charlie than Candace, one of his best friends and oldest friends. I mean, he had other close friends too, though, that were Zionist. And simultaneously are putting on the absolute maximum fake dismay at the suggestion that Israel would ever assassinate somebody. They definitely would. Bitch, Israel is but also at the same time, I saw Owen Benjamin say this, like, if Israel had the option assassinate Charlie or somebody like Fuentes, like, would they assassinate Charlie and then allow Fuentes to fill the vacuum? Wouldn't it make more sense that if Israel is going to assassinate one of the two, they would try to take out Fuentes instead? Isn't that kind of weird? Or if it was a setup, they would have blamed like a Palestinian or a Groyper. Anyway, Israel is famous for assassinating people. Just a few months ago, the Zionists were so proud of how cunning Mossad, they did the pagers. None of this is to say there's proof Israel did this, which Candace was very clear about. All the people promoting this, the more serious ones like Harrison Smith and Max Blumenthal and Candace, they're all saying like, well, we don't have any proof that Israel did it, but let me tell you all these things that makes it look like it, to make you think that. And I am noticing, lots of people are noticing, it does seem to be the very Putin-friendly networks that have already been pinned as likely Russian propaganda networks. Blood libel to suggest that Israel would ever harm someone. They think you're stupid. None of that is to say the proof Israel did it. What was that? Michael Bravo shared a link. Charlie Kirk's, we're not doing the real assassin stupid stuff. How many different angles are you going to pretend like somebody shot things from? Dude, this is so kooky. I'm going to show this just to show how kooky it is. Look at this. So many conspiracy videos. What is this supposed to be? A palm pistol you think he has, okay?
10 years. Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Come on. More likely. Come on. That is not a gun. That's not what happened. Great. How about he fixed his sleeve? How about people touch their sleeves or their hats sometimes? These theories are brain dead. Yeah, I'm sure he could totally aim perfectly with this. It wasn't even aimed at him.
Counting or not counting?
How many likes does this have? 9,000 likes, 1.3 million views. Come on.
10 years.
Jocelyn says we have DNA evidence, we have his text confessions, we have a motive. It's not actually every single time, guys.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
You're joking, right, Ethcon? Yeah, Adam's covering for this guy's the real shooter. Okay.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Come on. If you think that him barely touching his sleeve is activating a trigger, you can't be serious, Ethcon. Please don't tell me you're serious. Nobody smart enough to watch my channel would be schizo-maxing like this to believe this video.
10 years. Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
All right. 1 million views on that, though. Let's hear a little bit of Harrison's latest. I want to see here. He's been at the center of a lot of this because of his tweet a month before saying he was told by Charlie's friend. He tweeted that he was told by a friend close to Charlie that he fears for his life if he turns against Israel. Now that he's been killed, though, doesn't everybody think Harrison should tell us who that friend is? Like, are you not going to pressure that friend to speak out and say Charlie was worried Israel was going to kill him. Why would you not say that? You made this big claim, it happened, and you're going to not say who it was? Is it because he made it up? He just made a lucky guess. He just saw a video of Charlie and thought, I bet he's worried about if he criticizes Israel, they will kill me. And he just made up that he talked to a source? I mean, I'm sure he would have. He probably knows friends that are people close to Charlie. Yeah, receipts or it didn't happen. Now that it happened, Harrison, I think you should tell everybody who that was that told you that. Can he not say who it was because he made it up and whoever he says would have to be a friend close to Charlie? And he'll say, I never told you that. How else can you explain why he's not saying it? I DM'd him too. I said, how certain are you? How much do you believe that Israel did it? He ignored. But yeah, I think he should say who told him that.
The accusation that Israel may have had something to do with the death of Charlie Kirk is not only a perfectly valid supposition for so many different reasons, not least among those being the fact that a month before he was killed, he said they might kill him. Now, if you have a murder and the murdered victim has told people that he thinks he knows who's going to kill him, that's your first suspect. To act like that is in any way evidence of malice or bias or prejudice is absurd and frankly offensive, and nobody buys it. So just ask yourself if that is the type of argument you want to be trying to make or get into. And honestly, ask yourself why it's the type of argument you find yourself compelled to make. Where are your priorities? Where is your loyalty? Is your desire for truth, or does truth come second to other considerations? Because Charlie Kirk's murder was devastating. The response from the left has been eye-opening. The accusation that Israel might have had something to do with Charlie Kirk's death may be a shocking one. The response from you will decide what comes from it. If you think that the American people would, A, be gullible enough to fall for this false flag when we have shown a clear capacity for seeing through such bullshit, and if you think that the American people are going to think kindly on you hijacking the murder of a Christian and an American, and this is the thing, the entire time Israel has been waging its genocide against Gaza, I've been called the most vicious and hateful names. I'm anti-Semitic. I support the Hamas. I am on their side, and I want the genocide of the Jews. But look where you are now. Look where you are now. Israel's already panicking over the lack of support in the younger generation.
That's true.
And most people think they just killed their last and greatest weapon in that fight.
Even if they didn't, that's still not good for them, right? It still looks bad, the fact that there's this last few months of Charlie coming out more critical against him, a friend like Candace, like it looks really bad. If Netanyahu is having to address this, getting asked about this, you're not in a good spot if that's where you're at. But also, it's not mutually exclusive. Like, you can have both. Both
Damn
could be
Bigfoot
true.
sent $5. Alex Jones makes up sources all the time saying that Hess talking to Pentagon generals, CIA, ex-Delta Force. Harrison just learned from his boss.
I know, that's what I'm wondering, because I find it inexplicable that Harrison would not come out and say, this is who told me. He at least should be pressuring that person to come out, if that person really exists. It could have just been a lucky guess, and he was doing a little trick like Jones does. Oh, my secret, like all these, like lots of these guys on the internet do. Oh, my inside source told me this. Oh, I talked to somebody really important in this thing, and they told that people make up shit like that all the time. both could be true. There could be an insane leftist that hated Charlie Kirk. Look at all the leftists that are celebrating anyway. That could be true, and he could have been having a little bit of a rift with his Jewish donors. Both could be true. But either way, it doesn't look good. But either way, even though it doesn't look good and the internet may be accusing them of stuff, they just call it anti-Semitic and keep marching along anyway and just say, they're able to dismiss it as a bunch of evil blood libelers that blame them for anything. So whether they actually did it or not, or whether people say they did it or not, they're still going to end up on top the way I see it. But I mean, does anybody think it makes more sense that if they were really scared about the youth, wouldn't they have kept Charlie and then if they're going to assassinate anybody, they would assassinate somebody that's like really anti-Israel and has a big following, not their top goy. Even if he was 5% less Zionist, or if he was wanting to be a little bit independent and not controlled.
Israel might not go down now, but it just, over the last two and a half years, has seeded a poison that will strike their heart within a few generations.
Charlie was cute.
They're on the precipice now. And what you people decide to do in the next maybe couple days will determine whether the vicious and horrifying behavior of the nation state of Israel over the last 2.5 years leads to its total and absolute destruction and genuine devastation for the Jewish diaspora worldwide, or whether you're going to be able to survive the oncoming demographic tidal wave.
All right, not a whole lot of info there, Harrison. Okay, let's see the Sam Hyde now. The Sam Hyde viral clips. Haven't seen these yet.
This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this right here is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this is you. And this is their reaction when you are killed. This is the joy they feel when your sister is raped, when your children are castrated, brainwashed to hate you. This is their ecstasy when the floor of the subway car is awash in your blood. This is you. Make no mistake, that is a symbol, that is you. But this won't last long. They can't help themselves because they're so ugly and so low that the only joy they can experience, the only good that they can envision is to take something beautiful or innocent down to their level. And when they can't do it, the next best thing is blood. This is Charlie's family, and these are his children who will never be able to hug their dad and grow up with a murdered father. And these are the people who smugly revel in this, and they won't stop with just Charlie. The boats are burned. There's nobody coming to help. The barbarians are at the gate. This is the fall of ancient Rome that we are living through.
Whoa, fall of Edom that we're living through. Dude. Jay Dyer works for him. Russian spokesman Jay Dyer. Russian Orthodox Church guru Jay Dyer works for him. And now we're talking Duganist fall of Edom, fall of the West, fall of the Roman Empire. See through it all. Did you see this one already?
The boats are burned. There's nobody coming to help. The barbarians are at the gate. This is
Edom
the fall
alert.
of ancient Rome that we are
Rolls are
living
sent
through.
$5 on Rumble. Adam, please take it easy on Israel. Do not get our cherry tomatoes cut off. We will crash out.
Think about the cherry tomatoes. It's funny. Thank you, Vrilzer. Sam was converted to Christianity by Jay Dyer last year, and now what a coincidence, now he's talking about we're in the fall of Rome. And we need more Jesus to save us.
The barbarians are at the gate. This is the fall of ancient Rome that we are living through currently. And what happens in the next 2 weeks is going to determine the future of mankind. That's not hyperbole. That's just how it is.
Here's another one.
In this. And
this is the same one, actually.
Stages throughout human history, Christian white men.
Okay.
60s hip. I talk living through currently. And what happens in the next 2 weeks is going to determine the future of mankind. That's not hyperbole. That's just how it is. The fact is, Charlie Kirk is a martyr. He is a Christian white martyr. If you are Christian, if you are white, if you're a shit lib who miraculously somehow still believes in free speech, Charlie Kirk died for you. And he probably would have done it, anyway. I talked to Alex Stein a lot about him. He probably still would have done it if he knew he was going to die doing it. And, we are all united now in a battle for the soul of mankind. And by the way, this is why we have free speech in the first place. It's not because of some 1960s hippie commie staged faggotry that we have free speech. It's not because Mr. Jew in a bow tie went on a bus and marched on Washington. The reason we have free speech is because at pivotal stages throughout human history, Christian white men mostly have decided that yes, actually it would be worth dying to prove a point. That's how it happened. That's how we got this. The free speech that you enjoy, to the extent that you're able to have free speech, is because of that, is because of men like this.
Look at this. So he's a Christian martyr. Where was that? Okay, Nick Fuentes had a huge stream last night. And remember, he was like adversaries with Charlie Kirk. He had a huge stream. There was like 100,000 people watching him. He says that he finds the conspiracies that Israel did it unconvincing. And now there's a lot of people today posting that he got the call. And he's running cover for Israel. Let's see this.
There's a lot of evidence that
Alzrakul sent $5. I'm so tired of Christianity being tied to European people. Yep. So frustrating, annoying, and just an evil lie. Christianity never created. People created culture and survived around the world before Jesus.
Yeah, they try to frame it like with a false dichotomy that you can't, if you're white, you can't be opposed to insane leftist. Or you're not united against anybody against the insane left unless you also believe in the Jewish Messiah. You're an enemy if you don't believe also in the Jewish fairy tales. That's where the division comes in. Not to mention that the vast majority and the people pushing Jesus so much are the Zionists to begin with. So it's just circling the wagons. You're going to get nowhere. It's a non-starter. Okay, let's hear Nick's take on what
there's
happened.
A lot of evidence that places him at the scene of the crime. DNA evidence, video, photograph evidence. There are witnesses, but he has not given a confession, so it's not so cut and dry. We'll also talk tonight about the Israel angle. Many people online are speculating that Israel and its allies in the United States had something to do with the killing of Charlie Kirk.
So think about this. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Gray Zone, Max Blumenthal. They're some of the biggest ones pushing this, right? All of them have been attacking Nick in the last few months. Remember just recently Nick was implying and asking, are Candace Owens' attacks on Macron's wife propaganda working for Russia? Remember Nick asked that? Nick asked about who's Tucker Carlson working for with his propaganda video over to the grocery store in Russia in a softball interview with Putin. And then the Gray Zone, Max Blumenthal and his wife, they ran hit pieces on Nick, calling him
sent $5
CIA
on Rumble.
and stuff.
On the flip side, it seems like Fuentes is starting to notice the pro-Russia networks pushing disinfo and suggesting there's a connection between Hinkle's ACP possible connection to the shooter.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that.
Riding the Wave sent $5. Hi, Adam. It's the idiot. I am changing my handle to Riding the Wave.
Much better. I love Riding the Wave better than the idiot. Don't degrade yourself like that. So isn't it interesting? All the biggest people promoting this, and it's Jackson Hinkle. It is the already suspect Russian networks, Russian propagandists. The Christian Muslim controlled opposition is who I'm seeing posting, like the usual suspects posting this the most, which makes me very suspicious of it, actually, that's actually a psyop in itself. The Zionists are running their psyop. The opposition's running another psyop. They are far left anti-Israel people. But Nick has been noticing the Russia network as well. The Gray Zone, like I said, Max Blumenthal wrote an article attacking him, calling him a Fed and stuff.
That it was a state-sponsored conspiracy involving Israeli intelligence and the American government and maybe other forces to silence Charlie Kirk, and a patsy was created. A left-wing person was elevated to take the blame for some purpose. We'll talk about that theory tonight as well. We'll also talk tonight about the left-wing conspiracy theory.
It is true. Fuentes was I always included him in the Russian networks for a long time. It was only just like when he first returned back to Twitter, he was on a space and he goes like, well, he agrees with Dugin and he wants to have the multipolar world or all that stuff. He was shilling Putin hard, but it's almost like, along with coming up against Trump, almost like Spencer. He's having a Spencer arc. Spencer tweeted about how he notices all these accounts pushing this are Russian propagandists.
Which blames the Groypers. And this might be the most unbelievable one, and that's saying a lot. I've been accused of avoiding the Israeli...
Jocelyn 8 sent $5 on Rumble. The shooter left a note under his keyboard confessing and texted his boyfriend to look there then destroy it. Boyfriend took a photo of the note first, which cops now have.
Oh. Yeah, I saw that, some of that being reported. That's right.
I've been accused of avoiding the Israeli angle, and I'll just say at the outset, I've done one show since Charlie Kirk was murdered. I think I've put on Twitter maybe a dozen tweets. I have not avoided the subject. Honestly, I didn't think it needed to be addressed because it, frankly, on its face seems ridiculous.
Hail_Apollo sent $5 on Rumble. Bibi didn't do it, but he benefits from the rumors that he did. It sends the across Israel and get redacted in daylight message, without even having to redact anybody himself.
That's a good point. It does instill a fear-chilling effect. Look at this. Spencer recognizing as well, too. I know See Through It All's been real on this, noticing this. I mean, it's hard not to notice it. Spencer wrote yesterday, it's fascinating how Team Russia declares in unison that Charlie had turned on Israel, and this is why he was murdered in broad daylight. Deflection. And then here he says, many are thinking about this suggestion in the wrong way. If a state actor like Russia wants to eliminate a troublesome priest, this will be done quietly and in a plausible, deniable way. Heart attack, window fall. Kirk's murder, to the contrary, was public and spectacular. It's made him a martyr. The objective is to generate chaos, paranoia, and reprisal in a NATO nation. Cui bono reasoning and seeing how an event like this aligns with existing Russian operations.
The names sent $5 on Rumble. Maybe the tenant situation shocked him to his core and maybe realized he was being used as an unwitting asset.
That did seem to be the turn where he was like, I'm not Russia. I'm not pro-Russia anymore. That was a meme, right? That good point, namesake. Thank you for mentioning that. That does seem to be when he had a change of heart or a turn on the narrative. She's back, by the way.
A lot of evidence that places him at the sect. Honestly, I didn't think it needed to be addressed because it, frankly, on its face, seems ridiculous.
5,000 likes saying he got the call. I don't think he got the call. I think he's just being honest. That's all I'm doing is being honest. I don't know. He doesn't know. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out like everybody. And I know there's a lot of bullshitters out there that make shit up on all sides. So, like, we'll see. Let's see here.
Charlie, I can tell you factually, Charlie was praying the rosary. Charlie was going to mass. One of my last conversations with Charlie was me joking with him saying, just make the last step, okay? You are, I said specifically, you're too smart to be a Protestant. Just take the last step, Charlie. He says, ha ha. He was speaking about Mary. And typically when those steps start taking place, you stop referring to yourself, as I did, as a Judeo-Christian. I can tell you factually, Charlie was praying the rosary. Charlie was going to mass. One of my last conversations with Charlie.
So stop being so vague about this. Like, just straight up say it. Say Charlie was getting red pilled on the Israel question. She's like being all like elusive about it. Oh, he was not going to be a Judeo-Christian anymore. Really? I find that hard to believe. Here, what else do we have here? Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Here's one of the viral videos today. Some TikTok they, them calling for political assassinations. 39,000 followers on TikTok or Instagram. Lesbian leftist. Let's hear it.
So the day after Charlie Kirk died, I was in class. My teacher said, I'll give you 5 minutes for hot takes about Charlie Kirk. I was the only person who raised their hand. I said, I've been saying we need to bring back political assassinations. I don't feel bad, and I don't think that everyone deserves the right to free speech. I think some people should be afraid to express their opinion in public. So this class is literally about revolution in China. All of our readings for this month have been talking about how violent revolution liberated millions of people, it liberated women, and then our reading for that day was specifically about democratic dictatorship, where Mao writes about, yes, people deserve free speech, but there should not be free speech for reactionaries and imperialists and like capitalists and all these people who are enemies of the revolution, because that would reverse the progress that was made.
Yeah. Free speech for the obedient! Yes. And by the way, I will tell you.
Okay. Don't want to hear Crowder. Okay, we'll get to Destiny in a second, but who is that? Need More Amalek just shared this to me. Shoot, where is it? Oh, here it is. Insurrection Barbie. Charlie Kirk's pastor has a message for Candace Owens. He says, Charlie Kirk was my friend and I was his pastor. I want to simply say this regarding Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was a friend to Candace and never publicly spoke poorly of her, though he disagreed with her. He never operated nor entertained gossip or innuendo concerning Candace. My only comment I offer regarding Candace is this. I only wish at this tragic time of mourning she would be the friend to Charlie that he was to her. He would never have treated Candace or her family in such a way had, God forbid, this tragedy been hers. Candace Owens is under satanic possession. All right. Like, are we supposed to believe that all of Charlie's closest friends are in on this and covering it up, but Candace? Candace is the only one with the courage to reveal what Charlie the spiritual transformation Charlie was supposedly having. Streamer, everybody's been coming for Destiny, a big liberal streamers, Destiny and Hassan Piker, and they just got Destiny banned from Twitch. He writes, unreal, Elon Musk and other conservatives just got me banned from Twitch. My entire income is now gone. So much for the party of free speech. This was him yesterday.
Kirk, to be
refusing to denounce political violence on Piers Morgan.
I think that liberals need to wake up and finally realize that if they're not willing to do it, it will never come down. If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term. Every time he's in office, this happens. People joked about when Biden came in, it was so boring, nothing was going on. 7 out of 10 of the largest protests in American history have happened under Donald Trump. I think that liberals need to wake up and finally realize that if they're not willing to do it, it will never come down. If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term.
What? Look at his jaw, too. What kind of...
Shouldn't have been president for the second term. Every time he's in office, this happens.
If you want to not be killed conservative, then stop electing your conservative politicians. Hey, if you want to live, stop trying to win elections. What an insane lunatic. I've been seeing clips of him, other clips of him and Hassan calling for violent things too. They've just been getting away with it too, becoming multimillionaires and streaming and not being banned on platforms. See Through It All says, why does he have a following is the question. That is a good question. How is this guy so popular? I've always wondered that. What's wrong with leftists that they're all so into Destiny?
Oh, I did troll the shit out of the DDoS kid. That's a guy, that's one of the people, like, legitimately, like, you have no, like, it's actually kind of scary, like, how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. Or
whoa.
It would have just been him and his father. Because I didn't know anything about it. Dude, that was some of the most fucked up shit in my entire life. I was so fucking close to doing it. But I was making so much money on Twitch, and I don't know if Nathan was involved in yet, but for whatever reason, I decided that the current life I had wasn't worth the risk.
Guess all that money this is from a while ago. Guess all that money from Twitch is gone.
Oh my god.
I don't think anybody should feel sorry for these guys, honestly. They celebrated when people on the right got censored.
Close to this fucking address.
They'd be like, you're Nazis, you deserved it.
Streets mapped out and fucking you have no fucking idea. That's when I first started getting an interest in like owning a weapon. I got a permit to own a gun and everything. Holy wow. I did troll the shit out.
Wow. There's a bunch more clips of him going around, the both of them going around. I think I played some of them the other day, but we're not going to do it today. Look at how insane these leftists are. Here's the guy from Revenge of the Sis. So they're having a little Christian Jesus demonstration here, and this guy, this gay guy shows up and acts totally sane. Hold on.
Guess what? I have a First Amendment right to say all of that, and you will tolerate it.
Owls Cool sent $5 off topic, but there was a news story the other day of a church in North Phoenix accidentally damaged ancient Native American petroglyphs during property maintenance. No accident, just Christianity doing what it was intended to do, subvert and destroy.
Property maintenance. Doing what was intended to destroy. They damaged some ancient Native American petroglyphs. I don't think they did that on purpose. Why is this is so off topic. Why is there a church on top of petroglyphs? Don't understand that, but yeah, off topic. Thank you, Al. Cool.
They can't touch me. It's called the First Amendment, and I have that right. That little old lady is participating in the abuse of other human beings right now. That is not an American flag. That is an American flag. All the rest of this, Trump 24. No, it was not. Look at the Constitution. God is not named anywhere in it. a standard form statement.
The sad thing is he's right here. We're not a Christian nation on paper. We're not America was never officially a Christian nation. Christians lie about this. This guy's losing his mind over it.
Nothing to do. That was the norm. Yes, it was the norm. Abraham Lincoln said it too.
Why are you yelling?
No, it was not. You know what I love when people say that? No, here's the truth. 2024 since Jesus Christ was on the earth. So when was he born? When was he born? No, he wasn't. The man was 30-something years old when he allegedly died. So what happened in that 30-some years? We go from before Christ to after Christ, but there's no in between.
Dude, this guy's nuts.
The church created it, you dumb, blind bigot.
Bigot. Dude, worst audio.
We all use the same powder unless you're Jewish.
Unless you're Jewish.
No, he wasn't. The fact is, Jesus was never born. Jesus never existed.
Thunderstorm 9 sent $5 on Rumble. Those ancient petroglyphs are probably Solutrean, meaning European.
Nah, I don't think so. No. Native American, Indian. Dude, this guy knows Jesus doesn't exist. Based. Just too bad he's a lunatic.
The Bible was written by man. End of story. You know what? Not a single book in here. Paul, Peter, John was written by any of them because none of them.
That's not true. That's not true. Most people believe Paul was written by Paul.
Could have written it.
Close. Drag hurts people is their sign.
And they all tell different stories of his birth. So you want to sit there and say, oh, it's okay for the Bible to tell divergent stories of your Savior's birth.
But whoa.
But they didn't witness him because they didn't even know him until later. They all died of Martin's death. They allowed them.
Imagine if this is how I did my man on the streets. I talked like this.
Those are all lies.
Yep. He's right.
But neither were you. Because there's enough historic evidence to say you're wrong.
Yeah.
There is no scientifically founded proof that Christ ever existed. There are no documents, historical records from Judea, from Bethlehem, from anywhere that recounts the existence of Mary, Joseph, or Jesus. No.
This is our greatest soldier guy. Greatest mythicist soldier.
And stop getting your head indoctrinated by this death cult.
Death cult. Dude, is this guy green-pilled?
But we make up shit in our minds all the time. It's called crazy. See a doctor.
Like he's not crazy.
So once again, who is drag hurting? In a show where nobody under the age of 21 can even enter.
Okay. Oh my God, it's 17 minutes. I can't listen anymore. I will not torture you guys with that. I want to see your guys' comments on that one. I wasn't looking at the live chat. He just, yeah. Good one. Good. Here he is, right? He's like, come on, play. You guys are giving.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're such a little bitch.
You were telling me to play that one, right? That's the gay leftist Alex Jones. If Alex Jones was a leftist, that would be him. The See You in Valhalla Pride chairman. He's probably in the chat. We could save him. We could fix him. Jesus Christ. That's so funny. Big Gay Al. Thank you for the Big Gay Al guy. No, that's like slave, right? The guy's called a slave. That's funny.
For centuries.
Get this guy on the show.
Oh, please.
Yeah, this is what we need, but less gay, fat, and insane.
The preamble to the Illinois Constitution states that our state was established under Almighty God in order to secure his blessings.
We don't claim him. No, we don't claim him. He is spitting, though. He's owning. Dude, this guy should join CQ Radio, dude. He'd fit right in. Put him on the panel, guys. Give him co-host.
That's nice. People in the past were full of secrets.
Him and Tammy Cohen could expose the Christians. Him and Tammy Cohen could expose the Christians on CQ Radio.
It is a document written.
That's good.
But all of our laws,
Just because something is written by men and is the supreme law doesn't make it.
so don't follow Jesus and don't follow the law. Who do we follow?
You follow Donald J. Trump. You follow a fascist dictator.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just can't handle the audio anymore. He needs to debate Andrew Wilson. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, here's Charlie Kirk's wife telling how they met. Guess where they met? On a pilgrimage to Israel.
Second time, but the first time with, just know that nothing is by mistake. Nothing. I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband. Well, that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line. And I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. No. We were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person that's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that? No, not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking at timestamps, seeing that both of us were in Israel at the same time. But nothing is by coincidence. Just know that nothing is by mistake.
$10 hail.
Zoomer of Odin. Hail Zoomer of Odin. Hail Odin. Barbie outfit. Could be Israeli honeypot? No, I don't think so. She's just a good old Southern Christian girl that loves Israel. Charlie Kirk clarifies his criticism of Jews. It was clipped out of context. So the clip that everybody's sharing, he even said with Mort Klein, the head of the Zionist Organization of America, that people were clipping him out of context in one of these clips that everybody's been circulating since his assassination.
Left-wing ideas. I want to make sure I'm very clear because my comments have been clipped. Now, I'm unapologetic for what I said. I just think it's incomplete. I said some of the worst left-wing ideas have been supported by Jewish Americans. To be fair, though, Jewish Americans have also supported conservative group Sheldon Adelson for years as the #1 Republican donor, so they leave that part out. But Mort, you mentioned that some, not all, but some more secular Jewish Americans are not even on the side of Israel here, and they're also funding some of the groups that are destabilized. Can you help me? I want to make sure I'm very clear because my comments have been clipped. Now, I'm unapologetic for what I said. I just think it's incomplete. I said some of the
say clipped out of
left-wing ideas have been supported by Jewish Americans. To be fair, though, Jewish Americans have also supported.
So, yeah, just criticizing left-wing Jews, total MEGA victory. Charlie Kirk was a nice guy. I want to see this one. Somebody shared this one.
Kill Jews, stupid. So, it's funny. I used to say that, hey, if you as a gay person would go to Gaza, they'd throw you off of tall buildings, right? Now they don't have any tall buildings left, so I
don't. When you mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Is that too soon?
Is he mocking the death of Palestinian children? Yeah, he had the secular Jews cope. Oh, it's just the secular leftist, secular humanist Jews. Right? Oh, but we love the religious Jews. We love the Orthodox Chabadniks. We love Likud and Netanyahu. Those are the good ones. Banger joke.
Sorry, maybe you shouldn't kill Jews, stupid Muslims.
I like that. I like that.
Where was I? So it's funny. I used to say that, hey.
So interesting. Everybody's talking about, you should be canceled everywhere if you're making fun of, you're celebrating or making fun of the deaths, political assassination. Well, he's celebrating turning Gaza to a parking lot. Doesn't look good. See Through It All says, Charlie was so close to bringing the entire Zionist matrix down.
Health of a country. And so whenever...
This is him at the Building the Zionist Dream in front of Theodore Herzl.
Anyone who is even a smidgen anti-Israel or anti-Semitic has no place in the American conservative movement. Nowhere. And
even if you're a smidgen opposed to Israel, he was the biggest gatekeeper and biggest Zionist shill out there.
Israel or anyone who is even a smidgen anti-Israel or anti-Semitic has no place in the American conservative movement. Nowhere. And I denounce them, and so do all of our leaders, every elected representative. Anywhere that evil pops itself up, we denounce it and we expel it. The left embraces it. The big difference. Yeah. They elect anti-Semites to Congress. They put them on foreign relations committees. If anyone dares say anything anti-Semitic, I want nothing to do with them. Nothing. That's the big difference between American conservatives and the American left.
Right. But to be fair, for context, this was a few years ago, right? A couple years ago. He does seem to have changed his position on some of these things a little bit. But again, he would say he doesn't think Tucker Carlson's anti-Semitic. Tucker Carlson and who's the blonde girl? Megyn Kelly are not anti-Semitic in his view, so not much of a...
Evil is a cancer that will come no matter whatever side you're on, but it's what you do when you encounter evil that really judges the moral character of a movement and the moral health of a country. And so whenever I encounter it or whenever people encounter it, we take a stand against it. I think it's a little bit overblown. I wouldn't even call those people conservatives. I really wouldn't, because there's nothing conservative to have that kind of hatred in your heart.
That's the Charlie Kirk I remember. Game over, pagan. He clearly wanted, so see through it all posts, Charlie clearly wanted to separate disagreeing with Israel's government and anti-Semitism or being labeled a Jew hater. He was never anti-Jew or anti-Zionist for even 1 second of his life. Stop it. This is a Hinkle-Dugan Russian orchestrated psyop on the U.S.
Well, then that's the first, no, we all see what's happening on social media. There is this kind of temptation to blame the Jews for all of your problems. I think it's sloppy and it's wrong. No group is perfect. You can support Jewish life and support Jews and support Israel, but not support this current Israeli government. It's a perfectly mature view to have. It's fine. I have disagreements with Netanyahu. I have agreements. I think it's okay. But I actually think we could de-escalate a lot of the finger pointing around this issue if we look at it through that lens. That anyone who says we're going to blame the Jews, well, then that's the first, no one here rationally.
John,
what's up, dude?
A few shekels. Keep up the great show.
Right in time. Look, we're about to play your compilation here next in a couple tabs. Thanks, John. You're the best. Can't wait to see that.
If you believe that, then we could talk about it. But then if you're like, well, I don't think Israel should exist or I don't like Israel. Okay, that's another step, but that's a more reasonable argument, one I wouldn't share. But then if you're criticizing the Israeli government, so where I think a problem emerges is where my side, where I am pro-Israel, we conflate those three things and we immediately say that you're against Netanyahu, therefore you're against the Jews. I'm sorry, I think that's immature, it's sloppy, and it actually creates more resentment where it otherwise would not exist.
Look at what Charlie was against May 4th earlier this year. Funny enough, they just passed this right after Charlie died. They passed this same thing or something similar about boycotting Israel. He says tomorrow the House, well, this is back in May. Tomorrow the House will vote on H.R. 867, a bill that will criminalize private boycotts of Israel, fines up to $1 million in prison time of 20 years. Bills like this only create more anti-Semitism. So even with his opposition to this anti-Semitism bill, it's only doing it because he's thinking about what's best for the Jews. Bills like this only create more anti-Semitism and play into growing narratives that Israel is running the U.S. government. In America, you are allowed to hold differing views. You are allowed to disagree and protest. We've allowed far too many people who hate America move here from abroad, but the right to speak freely is the birthright of all Americans. Well, if they're not born here, do they have that birthright? This bill, Trump is asking the same question here in a second. This bill should not pass. Any Republican that votes for this bill will expose themselves. We will be watching very closely. I'll give him a like for that one. 6.6 million views, 90,000 likes. Opposing the BDS laws? That would not make his Zionist donors very happy. After all the money they've given him, after all the fame they've given him, now you're going to oppose, counter signal their shut it down program? That would have made them not very happy. Cash is not welcome in Valhalla. That's funny. Definitely not. He wishes, though. Does Trump agree? They say they still have their First Amendment right, though. They're still out there protesting. Trump says, I'm not sure.
That's a violent radical left group. Okay, go ahead.
I got peppered with a lot of comments for doing that. They still have their First Amendment right, though. They're still out there protesting. You've got an amazing team behind you.
He says, I'm not so sure.
Violent radical left group.
Is he going to, also this is interesting. All of this talk about, they're going to crack down on the radical left. What are they really going to do? The radical left, to them, their only problem with the radical left is that they're critical of Israel to some degree. They're going to shut down all the pro-Palestine groups and all the leftist groups that are anti-Israel. That's going to be the number one target. That'll be the number one target. Oh, you thought they were going to save white people and stop the anti-white hate? Only under the guise of defending Israel and Christian Zionism. All right, we're going to close it out today with right on the dot. We're right at 2 hours with John Garadis' latest edit. Israel's greatest ally. Charlie Kirk loves the Jews.
Independently.
Okay, here we go. Charlie, $1 more
Optics
super
Prime
chat.
sent $5 on Rumble. One more super chat closer to the goal.
Well, technically we smashed the goal, but that early big dono from Anonymous didn't count in the pill for some reason. So we did hit the goal. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes! That's awesome!
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you!
All right.
Alrighty then.
Appreciate you guys so much. Especially everybody that's clipping the show, making these compilations, spreading the word, fighting the good fight, helping me spread the message, making this show possible. You guys are amazing. Let's go out to John Garadis' mix. Charlie Kirk speaking to us from the grave about how much he loves Israel.
We all see what's happening on social media. There is this kind of temptation to blame the Jews for all of your problems. I think it's sloppy and it's wrong. No group is perfect. Guys, anti-Semitism is literally a brain rot that stops your ability to think independently, and you start blaming everything on a very small group of people. And let me say, that has no place in decent society. You can criticize the Netanyahu government. Great, Dave. Josh, you can have a view on, Iranian intervention, but we're not going to put up with this Jew hate stuff. It's not going to happen. We're not going to put up with it. Anyone who is even a smidgen anti-Israel or anti-Semitic has no place in the American conservative movement. Nowhere. And I denounce them, and so do all of our leaders, every elected representative. Anywhere that evil pops itself up, we denounce it and we expel it.
What you trying to say?
I don't think the place exists.
What?
Because it doesn't. It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine.
You don't believe that Palestine have the right to exist?
No, everyone has a right to exist. When? Well, the most
them to win.
Well, this is according to a source with very good access inside the White House. I could say even the Oval Office, that on 2 separate occasions this year, Israel was caught placing surveillance or electronic devices on Secret Service emergency response vehicles. I'm only as good as my sources, because if I call up the Secret Service, I'm going to get some like desk guy who's going to tell me, no comment. You know, we don't talk about that. But there's a precedent there. As I said, Israel did the same exact thing in 2019, and it was reported widely across mainstream media. The NSA has fingered Israel
number
as
one
the top surveillance threat to the United States. They surveil the U.S. more than any
but
other
Max, this is so huge. Your sources are saying in Secret Service vehicles, I mean, this is basically an act of war, and you were giving other examples from your sources. Please elaborate as much as give us every detail you were told.
Well, I elaborated as much as I could. I mean, what I've been told for months and months, talking to administration insiders, is that Trump is frightened of the Israeli influence, especially after his experiencing 2 assassination attempts. That's what we're unmasking, is the biggest foreign influence infiltration operation in American history that is basically taking control of an administration that says it's America first and is taking us to a very dangerous place.
Just wanted to get that in there. Later.
It's an important thing. We're going to talk about a lot of political stuff, a lot about Trump. The most important thing we can all do is give our lives to Jesus Christ, because Christ is King and Christ is Lord. The most important thing. So a Christian that's not pro-Israel, I doubt they actually love their Bible. And I will stand by that statement. If you are a Christian that doesn't love Israel, then you take your Bible way, way, way too much for granted. Genesis 12:3, if you bless Israel, I will bless you. Same thing in the book of Numbers. And so what I'm getting at, we as Christians are bound to bless the state of Israel and to bless Jews.
Jewish students and universities across the country.
Love you guys. Honor the Shabbat. 6 days you shall work, but 1 day you shall rest.
My man, I love it.
Remember the Lord your God who delivered you out of the house of bondage of Egypt. Exodus. God bless you guys.